Welcome back to the United Pubcast, the official Man United Supporters Club here in Sydney for what feels like the first day of the season. It's happy Premier League fixture day. We get to find out who is going to get a disappointing draw at Old Trafford with Man United come August the 6th. But fingers crossed we can get a kind draw. And we're sort of going to dissect all that in a few minutes when it does become announced. Got podcast regulars with us, George and Rob. Larry could be joining us in a few minutes, but obviously a little bit earlier today. And obviously a little bit closer to the work time. So hopefully Larry can join us in a little bit when the fixtures are announced. But George has been on a few times in recent days, but we'll go to Rob first. Rob, talk to me. You are enjoying a beer like me. It's been a long day for me, so I've grabbed a cold one. And to enjoy these last 5 minutes before I know just how disappointed I'm going to be in August.
Look, mate, I'm clutching at straws for football content at the moment. So anything that's Football United, I'm like a kid at Christmas today. I've been kind of counting down like it's Christmas Eve for who we're going to get, just to be bitterly disappointed, like you said, in the next 5 minutes, but I'll take it for now.
Why do you think it is, George, in regards to, it does have that, look, we're all dreading the season. Well, we are all excited, but there is all a kind of feeling of dread. And sort of we think, okay, what lays ahead? But it does what Rob said there in terms of that Christmas feeling. It does feel like that every year, no matter if Bournemouth will be feeling it, Liverpool will be feeling it, we're feeling it, Aston Villa will be feeling this excitement. And I just wonder, is that just what comes with football? Like, is there a genuine reason to be excited, or do we sort of go a little bit over the top with this? Because at the end of the day, we play each team home and away. It shouldn't be too exciting, but we do get so heavily invested in it.
I mean, you've said this before. It's something that it's a drug, and we all miss it when it's been so long without it. I guess by the time August rolls around, it'll be 2 months since we last kicked a ball in the league. 3 months, actually, since we last kicked the ball in the league.
Well, only for some players. They're still playing football, half the internationals.
It finished up yesterday. So, yeah, technically.
Yeah. So a lot of these players won't be playing in August.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't think so. And it's one of those things that, should we be excited? Yes and no. I guess this is one of those years that if you get the better teams in the league after the World Cup, which is going to be the massive spanner in the works when this lot of fixtures comes out, you might feel as though you can get a team that's underdone with all the players that have physically and emotionally invested themselves playing for their countries.
Well, it will be interesting. I don't know how it's going to work, Rob, because, and I'll sort of get it at one or two in the live chat in a second, and we're about 4 minutes away from the announcement. I just want to look at that because I don't know, we'll have the confirmation of dates when these come out. But in terms of this World Cup being in this period, sort of end of November to, let's say, New Year. Now, we'll get more specific dates in a few minutes. That's the busiest period of the season. So I'm just thinking, you take all those fixtures out, where are they going to go back in? Are we going to be having 2 games a week for the whole season? I just don't know how this fixture sort of pilot will look.
It's true what you're saying, but I do believe Boxing Day will be the return of the Premier League. From what I've heard, Boxing Day will be kind of like the big return kind of thing. So it's kind of good. We'll be on holiday still, and we're still going to kind of get that little bit of that Christmas Boxing Day, festivities. Who knows how run down the players will be, especially the ones that go deep in the World Cup. But I guess we'll find out in the next few minutes. But quick question, boys. I've been listening today to TalkSport and stuff. Who do you guys always look for first? Because I know a lot of people look. For me personally, I always look first game, last game, and Arsenal for some reason. I don't know about you guys.
For me, it's always not weirdly, I think a lot of people do, but Liverpool away, then probably sort of Arsenal away, and sort of then those big clubs. But then also randomly, probably Boxing Day, my birthday, which is the end of February, and then also who I just envisage that last day of the season. Can I envisage us lifting the trophy against that team on the final day? So obviously, will I be thinking that this season? I'm not quite sure. But George, my question to you, George, you can answer that one from Rob as well. But my question to you, opening day, here we are so excited. Do you have a sort of favourite opening day memory?
I guess it'd be hard to go past Leeds last year. That was great, seeing them wait 16 years to get back into the top flight for this moment, only for them to get battered. Yeah, that's pretty much as good as it gets at opening day for me.
I think that goes a little bit underrated, that one. Yeah.
We've had a couple of good opening days, boys. Like, I think, was it a couple of years ago, West Ham 4-1, Chelsea 4-0 opening day. Like, we've had a couple of big ones.
It was 4-0 against West Ham, wasn't it?
4-0 against West Ham. Yeah, I think we had like 3 late goals in that one. Like I said, the one, I think it was it Lampard's first time at Chelsea. We won 4-0 Old Trafford as well. I think Dan James.
The one thing that sticks out to me about that game is how we got outplayed in that first 20 minutes. I don't know why, but that sticks out.
The one that definitely always sticks out for me in regards to opening days, and who knows, we'll definitely be looking out for this name in a few minutes, but 06-07 we played Fulham, and it was the first game after the World Cup with the Rooney-Ronaldo incident, and we were 5-0 up after 20 minutes, I think, And that football in that first 20 minutes, I genuinely sat there and thought we were going to win 30-0. I thought every time we got the ball, we went forward and scored. I think Luis Saha was in there as well. And that was obviously the turn of Rooney Ronaldo and the start of that 3-year sort of domination of English football. So that was one that definitely does stick out. And I'll just say, g'day, Matt is obviously in the live chat. Good to see you, mate. And Justin here, Eddie lads, who are we going to get first up? I'm going to say Leeds. I'd be shocked if we get Leeds again. The leak I've seen, not to say it's accurate, is Brighton at home. Now we're going to find out in a few minutes. I'll bring it up on the Premier League website, and we'll go through the Premier League opening day fixtures and then United as a whole. But Rob, just a few minutes before we do start, is there a hope of who you do want to see on the first day?
I was saying to you guys, like I wore this jersey today. I wouldn't mind a Bournemouth or a Fulham away. I wouldn't mind an away game, but like I said, something to kind of maybe ease us into it. I wouldn't want like a Forest because I do think that there'd be a bit of a banana skin. But
yeah,
so
something like
that. Sorry. Yeah,
so Bournemouth. We've lost the vitality the last 3 times that we go there.
I think everyone's a banana skin.
Everyone in the Premier League from last season, I'm not confident in beating. So at least I've got half a hope of someone that's been promoted kind of thing. So yeah, look, I'd take one of them. Or to be honest, like mate, even one of the big boys first up, man. Like, you know, a lot of people every year, City are very start slow, man. Tottenham beat them last year, 1-0. I'd rather, if it's going to happen to us, we'll be a bit more on an even playing field if we knock them off the park straight away kind of thing. But
just refreshing my feed there I'll see what comes up first, whether on the Man United app or the Premier League app. But it is interesting. Matt here saying I'd love to get Tottenham. Tottenham, I think we had them once. Was it Louis van Gaal's maybe second season? I think we had them.
Yes, 1-0. We won from a Kyle Walker
own goal.
15-16, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the own goal.
That's the one I was talking to Rob a little bit earlier. The podcast I was listening to today, I was listening to Bastian Schweinsteiger, almost the forgotten man that he played at Manchester United. I was listening to his podcast he did with Man United a while ago, and a very good listen. Now, I'll just refresh. We should have the fixtures now. It's 6 o'clock, 9 a.m. UK time, but I've got nothing yet. If anything does pop up in the live chat, do let us know. If you've noticed anything sort of floating around Twitter. But just while we
haven't sent anything out yet, Tom.
So just while we wait for those, Rob, in terms of we're talking about fixtures, and we're going to get into those so deeply in a few minutes. But just the mood at the moment. Here we are, so excited. Forget that. That's not what we should be excited about. The focus should be elsewhere, and it's not in a good place at the moment, Man United.
Mate, you know, for me, whinging daily in our chat how I feel right now. It's depressing. Like I told you, we come off the back of a bad season. I heard the conference with Ten Hag put me back on a high again, but what are we doing? Playing with our thumbs? Like, you know, would think with months and months we've been in front. We know we really need to have a massive window. Let's go out and back the manager. And then, like I said, all we're doing is seeing our rivals get more. Like we're already miles behind them, and they just feel like they're taking more steps in front of us. So, look, I know people saying it's early days, but really is it early days? Tomorrow is 4 weeks till we're watching victory, you know? So,
well, Gary Neville was saying, they were just speaking earlier, Gary Neville put out a tweet and it sort of echoed, obviously he's a fan, but obviously in regards to a professional setup, obviously sees it from a different set of eyes. And even he's saying Man United are in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, and he's someone that's been there, done that
Pictures
before.
are up somewhere if you want.
I'll keep having a look. I'm on the Premier League website, so do let us know who we have got, and I'll throw up on the. I'll share the screen in a little bit, but who have we got? But George, just on that, if you haven't seen it, your thoughts on what Gary Neville was saying?
The leak was right.
So the leak was right. So yeah, Matt here saying Brighton first.
Yep.
I'll just wait till I see him on the Premier League. So, George, your thoughts? Brighton at home. Brighton are a tricky team. Thank God it's not away, Brighton.
A tricky team, yeah.
But they are a tricky team on opening day.
They are a tricky team. They're a team that traditionally starts well. For those of us who fail to remember, they're actually top of the comp in October, so they do start really well. And with regards to Graham Potter, he's done a good job with them. Do I see him as a future manager at a big club? No, I don't. But he's perfect for that style of club who knows their identity and how they want to play. And ultimately, they're the teams that we've struggled to beat. So, yeah, it'll be a few heart attacks to start the season.
I'll throw it up here. Should be bear with me if this doesn't work, but will try my best to be as technical as possible.
I'm really looking forward to the third game of the season, though, when you bring that up.
Well, here we are. Okay, so August 7th. So is that the Sunday game? I'm not sure. Or maybe kickoff times haven't actually been done yet. So I'm not sure about the kickoff times.
Sunday the 7th. So is that a Monday for us?
It's 2 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock British time.
I don't think kickoff times would have been done yet. Maybe just
the first one it is.
So, okay, we've got Brighton first, then away at Brentford, then obviously the big game, obviously there you can see on the 20th of August against Liverpool. That first month, George, is that a good month, a bad month, tricky or standard? Just your thoughts on that, one, the opening day, but then obviously the remaining month.
I think it's pretty standard. One of the big six in there. Then the rest are pretty mid-table teams. No one you'd really consider to be relegation contenders. Maybe you could argue that Brentford might be down there, but apart from that, it's pretty even scatter across the table.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you got there sort of Arsenal at home as well.
There's the
Leeds at
relegation
home in
contenders.
September. This looks like a potentially a bit of a October looks just off the first glance here.
Tottenham,
October looks a
Chelsea,
little bit
City,
tricky.
Everton,
You got
West
away at
Ham.
City, away at Everton, Newcastle, who are we going to put in a sort of big team category at the moment? You might as well. I think we're not sure how they're going to look. Tottenham, Chelsea, West Ham. Actually, the more I look at that October now, Rob, that's actually quite hard because obviously we're going to throw Europa League fixtures into there as well at some stage.
Yeah, well, that'll be probably, I'd say, just before the knockoff nearly. So a couple
And
more
look at
weeks.
the dates. Look at the dates in October, Rob. 15, 19, 22nd.
Well, backing up. Plus, like you said, European football as well. Wow.
And you've got to throw, I'm sure League Cup is in there somewhere sort of thing. So it'll be fascinating there. And then you'd obviously look at I'd rather look at this on a calendar style setting. Maybe someone does have that on their phone. But you do look at that. It'll be very interesting to see what this looks like. Our last game is obviously the 12th of November. And then obviously return, as Rob was saying, on Boxing Day against Nottingham Forest. What do you think?
I do like our run home, though. I do like our run home.
Well, we'll go to the run home.
Further.
The run home. Okay, so I can see us lifting a title at home to Fulham. 3 points needed on the last day.
I'll take that. See, look, Bournemouth, Wolves, West Ham. That's not too bad for a run home if we're fighting. Who else is there? Where's all the? There's normally another month where, like our October, where it's full of the big boys again.
You look at April's always that big one in terms of whatever you're fighting for. Those last sort of 10 games, you away at Newcastle is always going to be tough. And then
it's not too bad.
I think that October one, and I think that always happens in terms of there's always that month. And obviously we don't know what that is going to look like with Europa League football. We don't know what it's going to look like with players going to the World Cup or the month after the World Cup, how they come back from that. I think it's going to be, would you throw it in a category, Rob, of not we're going to say Leicester's going to win the Premier League, but that sort of situation you saw, obviously got George on the podcast about Greece, when Greece won Euro 2004 or something like that. Could you see, again, not Leicester style, but maybe you could throw Man United into the category, but a Man United, an Arsenal, or a Tottenham, potentially just because of the weird situation, it could be one of those seasons where there's a real surprise package.
Oh, look, I don't want to be negative, but look, we have got a lot of a team full of internationals, which, England, France, players here and there that most players do, probably will go quite deep into this competition. And even though I think it'll be a little bit like an international break, a big international break. I'm not expecting even the players that go deep, unless they get injured, I'm expecting them to kind of come back to club football quite quickly. So, look, I guess we'll find out and see if that happens compared to when it's a normal World Cup. Okay, you make it to a semi-final, they're going to have a holiday extension from then. I reckon this will be pretty much back to normal from whenever the final is and whenever it comes back. I think it'll be a little bit of a break and straight back into it kind of thing. But I guess we'll find out.
Unless you're Cavani and then you decide to take the rest of the season off.
Well, I've seen... Well, actually, I've completely forgot. So my apologies. I forgot everyone in the live chat. I've been too busy sort of following screens now. I've seen the Premier League sort of website as well, which they have every club. So we'll bring that up in a second.
I like that comment from Imad. I like this comment from Imad.
They always get a promoted side on the opening day.
I'm surprised Liverpool don't have Norwich in August, to be honest. But I'll just bring up some live chat because there have been people in the live chat. So apologies for not getting to you, but I will say good day. Imad, good to see you, mate. You heard it well, Rob. I'm not sure what that is about. I've missed something there potentially. But maybe something you're talking about. But Brighton first, a lot of people talking. Adam here saying, not going to be an easy game. Sorry, I'm late, just home from work. No dramas, mate. No need to apologise. You're still earlier than Larry. I think Justin here in regards to the Brighton game, I think, without kickoff times confirmed, well, they potentially are here.
Oh, the first one was a 2:00 British time kickoff on the 7th of August.
Which is actually... Mine are weird. Mine has 31st of August. The Premier League website has the 31st of August as the first kickoff. So I'm not sure what is happening there. I'll share my screen in a sec. But Emad here, after slapping us 4-0, they'll be licking their lips at having us first up. Yeah, our last game against Brighton obviously was 4-0. Will they'll obviously be without Basuma, Rob? What do you think of that transfer to Tottenham?
Yes, massive. Look, I'm the one early days now on. I'm actually quite scared of Tottenham this year. I know it's still a long window to go, but I think, early prediction, I think they can push third, second this year. Nowhere near the title, but I do think, me, I'm a fan of Conte. I think they're backing him hard. He's won the Premier League before. He's got the experience. He's going to have a full preseason under his belt as well. I think they'll be one to watch out for this year, Tottenham.
Yeah, unfortunately, probably right. But on the Italian thing, can you just talk to me about Emad's comment here?
We should sign. Why? What's he saying now? I know we've actually
Because
been
they'll be nice and fresh around the World Cup period, Tom.
Well, that's a smart idea. There is look, man. I'll be keen for United. A lot of people have said Bastoni. I don't think it's going to happen. There's a couple of years ago, I was screaming for someone to throw Sandro Tonali, great midfielder, someone I think would be loving for. Now, I said this before he was even known, and now last year he had a massive season, won the Scudetto with AC Milan. Now he's hot property. It's not going to leave, but again, we always leave these ones that come out of the bloom when we should be signing them for low money. We'll see how we go, mate.
Definitely. Well, I'll bring up the Premier League fixtures here, George, and they've sort of recorrected on my computer now. So we're looking at that. Yeah, those kickoff times on that's the Sunday. Let's go to the Saturday.
Well, Sunday, 11 o'clock.
So the first game there, you look at Palace. Well, you can see Arsenal dropping points. They don't mind dropping points on opening day. So I'd like to see Patrick Vieira do something there. Fulham, Liverpool. Yeah, as I say, Liverpool are going to have that fixture every second week, unfortunately. That is how that works. Then you look at theirs.
Sorry, Tom. If you go to that third one against Liverpool, would that be like a 9:30 prime time for us or what?
We're looking at that. What date would that be? That'll be...
I think the 20th it said. That's there we go. Yeah.
That hasn't been done yet, that kickoff time. But you'd assume, the potentially. That kickoff time, I assume, will be done in a month or a couple of weeks. They'll confirm that kickoff time. But I'll just go back to that opening day for everyone. So we're looking here. Are there any sort of standout sort of fixtures there? Is it... Trying to think, Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, while not sort of a title decider or anything, I think that's just a story. Game. Newcastle will be a narrative around at Nottingham Forest, George. Obviously, their first time back in the Premier League in a while. What have you made of the Nottingham Forest link at the moment? Obviously, this is always there, but now when you see it sort of confirmed, Nottingham Forest have a strong interest in bringing Jimmy Garner back, whether on a permanent deal or a loan deal. Just your thoughts on that one regarding Forest?
And Henderson.
Yeah. Look, with regards to Jimmy Garner, if our midfielders in a situation whereby we do have established internationals that are playing well and are consistently performing, then I'd say by all means let Garner go, get that experience with guaranteed minutes in a Premier League side. But I just think the state of our midfield right now is a scenario whereby we can't afford to do that. I would rather throw Garner in there before I give Fred McTominay another chance. And especially now that we're in the Europa League, that's when you can give these kids a chance against experienced men's footballers.
I think that Europa League thing is huge, especially for a player like James Garner and whoever else you want to throw into that discussion. But I'll just go to the final day of the season. No, that's January. It should get up a little bit. But I do want to see, obviously, who will be. So Fulham for us. I'm not sure why my computer is going quite slow, but I'll scroll it down. But, Rob, is there anything there in regards to, while my computer loads, that World Cup sort of group, or the World Cup gap, I should say? Anything alarming in regards to our squad? Is it something you talked about, the internationals we have, but also the players who won't be travelling to the World Cup? Is it something we're better off than other clubs, or is it something that sort of will be at a disadvantage compared to other clubs? Because it's one of those things, we do have a big squad, but the bigger squads and better squads ultimately going to be sort of more hit by a World Cup. Yeah.
Look, we'll take any positive we can if that's the point. Like we might have, like now, like I said, people like Jadon Sancho, possibly Marcus Rashford. They're going to have a full preseason now. Obviously, didn't get a call up, so we should be seeing them firing off the start. Maybe if they don't get a call up for the World Cup, we'll be in the same situation. For Liverpool, I know Salah, he won't be getting a rest because Egypt didn't make it, so that's a big plus for them.
Yeah.
So look, it's again they've got Luis Diaz, Colombia didn't make it as well. So look, I guess some teams are going to. I'd say someone like City, you'd think that they would definitely you'd think they'd be the most in jeopardy of something like that because they've got like Spain, Portuguese, Belgian players all over the park, and they're definitely teams that you should go deep.
Yeah, definitely. Matt here saying any games. I haven't found Leeds. I'm not sure when we're playing Leeds, Matt, but they're the ones I'm looking out for. And Raphael here, hi lads, hope all is well. Hoping to get to a game in May for my honeymoon. That'll be good, mate. Hopefully can make something at home, fingers crossed. Yeah, I know Larry's heading over in August as well, so I'm not sure how those fixtures line up. I think he wanted a home game first, which would be good for him. So Larry might be at that Brighton match.
My birthday will be 3 days before Liverpool, so I'll try and have all the celebration I can before Liverpool knock me off my
before they let you down. But George, on that final day, which you can see on your screen there, that's the final day where we lift the trophy against Fulham. But just think, is there any other fixtures that stand out to you?
On the final day, I think Chelsea and Newcastle could be quite interesting.
Yeah. I think they always play each other late in sort of big games. This is back when Newcastle, in my opinion, from my childhood, when they were always not challenging for titles, but sort of in and around those sort of big clubs. They always had big games against Chelsea at the end of the season, always at St James's Park. It was one of those ones. But I look at it there and you lead Spurs just from a footballing point of view, you think potentially something in that. But it's
And
one
I'd
of those
like to
ones-
see Wolves knock Arsenal out of the Europa League or a Conference League spot towards the end. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that has Europa League sort of qualification to the wire
100%.
written all over it, that fixture. But who are we to love it?
Who's City got? Brentford away. Okay.
Well, no, I'm telling you, out of all those, look, Southampton away, Southampton home to Liverpool. That's one of those ones you could see potentially Liverpool dropping points. Man City away at Brentford at the end of the season. You think if they're going to draw a game, potentially that. Spurs aren't winning a title. Arsenal aren't winning a title. Chelsea, Newcastle, that's a big game. Maybe Newcastle are a top team by then. I'm looking at it, Rob. I'm seeing Fulham at home, 3 points on the last day to win it. Tell me I'm dreaming.
We'll be singing 21 in the next off-season then, Tom, if we're going off what you are, and I'm sure we'll all take that. Look, mate, if we buy some plays in the next week or two, I'm sure we'll be a little bit more hyped up and we'll be keen for the 21 to come. But we'll have to wait for United to pull their finger out.
George, are there any fixtures or any sort of dates you do? I can bring the Man United sort of fixtures back up if you'd like, but any sort of dates that sort of, as we were discussing earlier, people have Boxing Days or birthdays or a certain ground they like to sort of visit, sort of thing. Is there a certain fixture you are looking forward to which you don't know where it is on the schedule?
The obvious one that stands out is Anfield away. That's something that just because we haven't won there in so long, I don't think since Rooney scored in Klopp's first game there, I believe that we haven't won there. And
yeah, so I got here. That's in March, so early March we're away at Liverpool, and that's always a tricky time away. Sort of that time in March, April when sort of European football returns. Unfortunately, it'll be Champions League for us, but it'll be Europa League or who knows, Conference League potentially. But it's always a tricky time. That and obviously, again, we haven't really discussed it in sort of great detail in terms of the ins and outs of it. But that World Cup, I still can't get ahead. Again, just look at the numbers in here. Look at in February, you got 11th, 18th, and 25th. That's always around FA Cup time as well. And the start.
Well, that's when Champions League normally comes back in February as well. So yeah, that'll be just crazy, man. Europa League, Champions League, plus like I said, Cup games as well. It'll be crazy.
The way I see it is that I don't believe the FA Cup will be on standalone weekends anymore. They'll just be midweek games.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
And with regards to what we shouldn't even bother looking at for, Chelsea's, whenever it is going to be 3:30 on a Monday morning. Don't waste your time.
Oh.
Well, that's in April, obviously. Yeah, for any of our UK viewers, I'm not quite sure. Us here in Australia, whenever we play Chelsea, does not matter when, where, wherever, it is 3:30 a.m. on a Monday morning, no doubt. And our first game against Chelsea this season is, I'll just have a look here, is part of that October period away at the Bridge. And I just look at that October period again, Rob. That is
scary, man.
Yeah, it's shocking.
It is. So
because look, away the
champions.
champions. Okay, yes, United can get a result there. Of course they can. But ultimately, okay, you take that away and say, okay, we've lost that game. So we lose the first game in October. Away at Everton, just tricky. Obviously, if United are in form and Everton, you can get a result there, but very tricky. Newcastle, Tottenham, Chelsea. Obviously, who knows what is getting from Newcastle. West Ham as well. You look at that. They're the top teams in terms of form. Take Newcastle, sort of their start of the season out of it. And Everton, obviously, you look at Man City, Newcastle, Tottenham, Chelsea, West Ham. I'm sure all those teams, besides Liverpool, are all the form teams in the Premier League come toward the end of the season.
Well, I think out of all those teams, we only beat Tottenham and Newcastle last year. Out of all those teams, we didn't beat Everton home and away. We didn't beat Chelsea home and away.
We beat West Ham
once. I think it was one.
Twice.
No,
twice.
Oh yeah, because they knocked us out in the League Cup. True, correct.
Yeah,
2 wins. Oh god, when David De Gea saved that penalty, Rob, we'll win in the title.
Oh,
100%.
Ronaldo was back. Jesse Lingard was putting balls in the top corner. David De Gea was finally saving a penalty because I think De Gea went over 20 penalties or something without saving a pen.
Yeah, it wasn't since he saved Lukaku's penalty in the FA Cup semi-final for club or country that he saved a penalty.
And it was so quick after the Europa League where he missed like 10 in 1
I know. Crazy. He saved a couple this year. He saved one in it was the Watford game. He saved 2 in a row. Remember? And then
I think all up in terms of those 2 in a row back to back. I think it was 3 in a row if you counted those two together.
Yeah.
But Borche here, 21 is coming, no doubt. I have no doubts. I don't know what these two are talking about. Larry here on the Gone for 10 show account. See from Manchester lads. Yeah. So as I said, he will be over there for looks like the Brighton game, hopefully. So fingers crossed, Larry will obviously be there. And I'll meet up with a few guys over there and. Obviously, maybe
might be there for the Liverpool game. That's on the 20th of August at home. We might be there for the Liverpool game.
Yeah, rearrange a trip later. Actually, would you be risking going to Liverpool?
I know.
Would you want to go all that way to be disappointed?
It's just as bad as a risk at the moment.
Yeah, no, definitely one of those ones. But anything else in regards to fixtures you want to touch on, George, or whether that be United related or Premier League in general?
No, not really. I guess the next thing, the World Cup draw has been done. Everyone can go check it out. There's obviously a few standout games. And with regards to players that we're signing, this is going to be my weekly reminder that Wout Weghorst and James Tarkowski is still available. Go get them on the cheap. They'll bolster our squad.
Well, Vincent Kompany sold to Manchester United. I'm not quite sure that'll happen now. He throws a bit of a spanner into those works. But the question I asked George, you at work as well today, and I sort of mentioned it a little bit briefly before to Rob. Again, Rob, you said this won't happen. But in terms of we're talking about that striker in behind Ronaldo, Tammy Abraham. Now, the link isn't a good link. It's just would Tammy Abraham come to United? I don't think there is anything actually sort of in the rumours. But in my opinion, and you're going to tell me sort of why it won't happen, which I fully agree, but the profile of the striker, sort of youngish striker, has a point to prove, would, in my opinion, except for one season being behind Ronaldo. And if he came in and had a good season, well, that confirms, well, next season he's going to be the main man when Ronaldo leaves. So I'm not sold on Tammy Abraham as a player, but maybe it's a sign of desperation where we're at the moment. I'm looking at Tammy Abraham and what he did at Roma and thinking, oh, hang on, if he didn't have his spell at Chelsea earlier and it was just an Italian striker from Roma, I'm thinking, hang on, get this guy in.
George,
Your thoughts, Rob? Your thoughts?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, look, I agree with you.
No, I'm on the Weghorst train. You talk about Abraham.
Yeah, I'll take a team Abraham, honestly. But like I said, the first thing, it won't happen for the main reason. He was the main man for his big breakthrough season. Jose, he loves him, and obviously, 40 million he bought him for next season. And I think that he's at Roma anyway for a stepping stone club, but I can't see it being over and done with in one season. And look, they'll be asking for monster dollars. And for someone like, they keep saying we're on a tight budget, we've only got 150 mil, we're not going to go splash that out on someone to sit on the bench behind Ronaldo. But yeah, I think he would have someone, a young striker. He's been in the Premier League before. I do think that Chelsea let him go too soon. What a mistake. They let him go for 40 million to sign $95 million Lukaku, who's just about to go back on to loan at Inter again. So
yeah, just say he brings up Lukaku 2.0, and that Lukaku, could you imagine that was a United story? We've seen it with Pogba, and that was sort of 6 years in the making sort of thing. That was drawn out and everyone got bored of it. Lukaku, no one's talking about that. Chelsea, how much did he come back to Chelsea for, George? And then you look at he's going to be loaned back to Inter.
Yeah,
97 million pounds.
100 million pound, and I'm just thinking, okay, yeah, a player can flop, that happens, but talk about it. Like we're talking about Man United play, okay, you have a bad season if you score 10, 15 goals, okay, not good enough. Lukaku, I think, has had a woeful season.
Dan James has got more
20
attention
million for the loan. Chelsea won 20 million for the loan, so Inter offered them 5 million today.
Well, it's one of those ones where it has to happen. He has to go. Like I think all parties know what's going to happen.
He wants to go. You can see, you know what? Just on that as well, I think it was a stupid buy from the start. Why buy a striker which they knew who he was and how he plays, and then try and change him and fit him into the Tuchel system? It makes no sense at all. If you're buying a striker like him, you know how he plays. Okay, he's going to fit the bill. We know how he plays. Now you have to kind of adjust your game to us. It's never going to work like that.
I would agree, and I completely agree, Rob. Erling Haaland, Manchester City. Is Haaland just because he's that much better? It doesn't matter? Because I look at it the way he plays, does he suit Manchester City?
It's true. Like you say, I just think he's going to be there just to tap goals in, man. The way they square balls across there.
Oh, yeah, there is that.
All he's got to do is tap balls in, mate. But he's got it all, man. As we've said, he's an aerial threat. He can run in behind. He can link up play. And under Pep, I'm sure he'll adjust. He's young.
Yeah, definitely. Matt here, just before we wrap up, didn't he say he loved Chelsea in regards to Lukaku? That interview by Lukaku, I remember that when that was done, that was unbelievable how that sort of unfolded. And George here in regards to Tammy Abraham reminds me of Danny Welbeck. Definitely does have that bit of a vibe in terms of the way they play. But you do look at what Tammy Abraham has done at Roma, and you do have to take your hat off to him. He has done quite well. So fair play to him. Matt here saying, do you think we could buy the Austrian national team? If not, don't know if Ralph Rangnick comes with that, a bit of a sort of package deal. But it's been a pleasure to sort of go through all those fixtures. Anything else sort of spring to mind, whether it be fixture related or United related, that I have missed because I haven't been scrolling through Twitter. But Vin here saying it'll be great to see Haaland playing left wing next season.
No,
I don't know.
He'll be there front and center, mate. Don't worry. He'll be there front and center.
Do you think there's it's hard because they got him on that release clause, so he's not £100 million signing like a Lukaku, or I know Darwin Núñez isn't at that, but I want to keep saying Darwin Núñez is 100 mil just for the sake of it. But some new players under a Klopp or under a Pep Guardiola, sometimes they take 6 months to get into the team. Now, do you just think that's simply not a possibility with Haaland because of who he is and sort of how he plays? Or can you see a situation, George, where it's kind of maybe is a bit of a slow burner for Haaland?
I definitely think it's a slow burner for Haaland. I've expressed on this podcast why I think he will struggle under Pep. And I'll say it again. I do believe that the Haaland signing is an indication that Pep is on the way out in 2 years max.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is
feeling.
just Pep doesn't generally play with that traditional number 9, and I feel as though he'll stick to the tried and trusted formula for the first part of the season and then try and integrate Haaland where he can.
Yeah, I think I throw Haaland and Mbappe to different players, but in that same discussion, the next 2 big players, when Messi and Ronaldo leave, if all things go correct in their career and their trajectory, you think Mbappe and Haaland will be those next 2. And if you're at a club, you want that player at your club, one of those. So I think that is why they've struck where they saw a possibility to bring Haaland in, even though it might not be the perfect signing for the manager. They think, well, hang on, this manager's been here. Well, I'm shocked Pep Guardiola's still there and Jurgen Klopp's still there.
How long has he been now? He's been, 5-6 years, didn't he?
Well, when Mourinho came in. So it's 2016.
14-15 was Klopp's first year, because I remember they lost their 2016 Europa League final, and then he was there the year before.
So I'm shocked they're still there. And look, I don't want to give them any credit, but fair play to both them and the clubs for making it work for such a long period of time. But George here, with just one more thing here, 5 subs next year can sub out if going bad for Haaland. The 5 subs will throw an interesting dynamic. Hopefully it does. Obviously, the arguments suggest it will favour better or bigger clubs with more sort of experience on the bench. Fingers crossed that does sort of prove beneficial in Man United. Who knows? It'll be interesting. I'm positive. I don't like the rule as well. But every single manager, and even the clubs who are doing well, even Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp, even their fans say if they have to criticise something about their manager, and it's the first thing we did about Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Solskjaer, it's the first thing we do as well. They make the subs too late. Yeah. I think Eric Ten Hag's first thing, I think the first thing we'll do is making the subs too late.
60th minute. We want it on the 60th minute.
I think it'll be interesting how he does use those 5 subs, because I think every manager, while from a football purist point of view, George will probably disagree with him. I think Ten Hag will disagree with it. Guardiola will disagree with it. However, given the option, they'll definitely use it and they'll take advantage, and they'll be excited by saying, hang on, I can keep. And there'll be something that I think this is stupid, but it'll keep some players happy. Okay, you got 2 players who usually wouldn't get on, but if they're not going to get on, you think, well, how can I keep them happy as a manager? Hang on, if they come on, they're going to get a 30 grand match bonus appearance fee. I can bring them on because I've got 2 extra spots. That'll keep them happy. Not to say they're just financially motivated, but I think that is something that will play part in a lot of. I've seen it at Man United. I saw when Michael Carrick, in one of his games in charge against Villarreal, Juan Mata was on the bench in like the 94th minute. We had a corner. Yeah, there was nothing. The corner was on the other side of the field. He was never going to take it. The referee had the whistle in the mouth. In my opinion, it was just Carrick being friends with Mata saying, "Here, have a couple of grand," sort of thing. And do you think? Am I reading anything into that, George, or do you agree with me?
No, I do think there's something in it. If the manager has a rule, whether they agree with it or not, they will utilise to their advantage. They will do so. It's like saying, no, Ole would wait for it to make all 5 subs at once, like he did against Sheffield United.
Was that the game we were at the pub for, Rob? Do you remember that with Bournemouth?
No, it was against Sheffield United. No one was there. We were all in lockdown.
No, but we weren't in lockdown, I think.
Yeah, we were.
I think there was one game, Rob. There was one game. I think it was
Bournemouth. When we won,
it might not have been the Bournemouth game. It might not have been that game. But I do remember all the players lined up on the bench. Come on, it was a pre-season friendly.
And but yeah, it's like one of those things saying, okay, there are some coaches that won't agree with scrapping the away goals rule in the Champions League, but that didn't mean they were the ones arguing if they would have otherwise gone out on away goals, but then this game went to extra time instead and they won.
Yeah, I don't mind it for Europe, because obviously the extra fixtures and stuff like that for different players. I don't mind the 5 sub, but in the Premier League, I just can't stand it. It should be free, and that's it. And look, it's always been in favor of the big teams. If they're going to have bigger squads, it's always going to help, but it's just a tactical thing. Now, like I said, you used to be able to run down the players, I'd be tired, make a sub. Now, 5 players is half a team that can be refreshed, you know what I mean? So yeah. I just don't like it in that kind of
My fear with it, and I will wrap it up now, but my fear with that is it used to be one on the bench, then 2 on the bench, then you had 5 on the bench, which you could use 3. Well, now it's 8 on the bench or whatever it is, you can use 5. Okay, that's good. That's in 5 years. In 10 years, it'll be interchange. And maybe by then we'll be so familiar with the 5 subs, we'll be thinking, hang on, no, 5 subs is perfect. Maybe that's how our brain will be trained over the years, sort of thing. We'll be not happy with interchange, and interchange won't happen. I'm sure of it. But who would have said a couple of years ago 5 subs would happen? The game does change very quickly. But there are 1 or 2 more, which we'll just wrap up with. Appreciate everyone staying with us. Sam here, good to see you, mate. Evening, gents. Been a while since I've got a live stream. Counting down the days till Melbourne, definitely, mate. Already preparing the beers. you obviously do bring Esky to a lot of our charity games, so maybe bring an Esky down to Melbourne for us, obviously to help us through that game against Melbourne Victory. George, Europa League final still irritates me. We put Matter on for pens. I still think, I don't want to keep banging the Matter drum over Marcus Rashford. I'm telling you, an hour into that game, if we bring whether even a Donny van der Beek, I'll say Matter or Donny van der Beek on for Rashford, I think it changes that game completely, and I think we win that game in normal time. Who am I to argue, though? Matt here, George. Please get a building inspection ASAP. Foundation getting worse in regards to the slant on the couch, like the Titanic sinking the other day. The termites, Pogba and Lingard are gone. Yeah, nothing confirmed. Obviously, Pogba, we assume, obviously going to Juventus. Rob, you'd sort of maybe know a little bit more about that. But George, have you heard anything in regards to Jesse Lingard? Because obviously we've heard a little things, one or two about Dean Henderson, maybe sort of Nottingham Forest. Now we always think Newcastle. But Jesse Lingard, he's a big player. Okay, whatever we think of him and how it's ended, he's a big player. And I'm just thinking, surely someone's after him. The obvious guess is West Ham and Newcastle. Yeah. But
I think the left field option for that one could be Roma. He played his best football at United under Mourinho. If he wants
good
to play
with Tammy Abraham as well.
Yeah,
Manager's arrived already.
Oh, his son's followed him again.
Yeah.
That's it. I saw those all the clubs, to Chelsea, to Man United, to Roma with Mourinho, and I'll miss Matic. I think Matic sort of not kicked on in his Man United career, but I think he came with a little bit of always the right signing. I think the more time went on, we realised he was actually quite a good servant for Man United. So I do wish him well in Roma. Obviously, did see that announcement video. I always find it weird. A young player, you can see these announcement videos. They work. That's what happens with social media. When Nemanja Matic is there doing these videos and the shirt's been thrown on him, he looks a bit out of place. Yeah. But fair play to him. And Matt here, just to wrap up. Yes, Jesse Lingard for Tammy Abraham does make sense. Makes sense. Does it make dollars and sense for Man United? That is a different thing. And that is unfortunately what a lot of our decisions are based upon, which we're finding hard sort of to get our head around at the moment, because here we are so excited about these fixtures. Yep, we're going to sort of beat Brighton on the opening day and lift the title 21 against Fulham. But we're back to reality as soon as we close this stream and start scrolling through Twitter and realise we're not signing players.
Can you imagine Lingard at Brighton on the first day of the season?
Obviously, he did well at Brighton on his loan, so obviously does have a connection to the club. The way they play football, would it shock you, him in that system? Probably not. So, just when Matt brought the name Lingard up there, I just think it's an interesting one because he's a big player. I'm sure he has an aspiration to be at the World Cup. Whether he get there, that area of the pitch is obviously very tough in England. Obviously, there's a lot of quality there. So
Southgate he'll still pick Bukayo Saka regardless. That's just.
Maybe he could throw Aaron Wan-Bissaka in the number 10 role before Jesse Lingard. The amount of right backs he can squeeze into an 11 is impressive. So fair play to Southgate in regards to what he does there. But George, Matt agreeing with you completely here. And George here, obviously, Matt, we still have the bed bugs at the club, which will be interesting in terms of these leaks, what it does look like next season with one or two players gone. Will it stop? Probably not. No. So I might give us evidence to who is leaking stuff. But George and Rob, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for filling in for Larry, who obviously was tuned in. I saw one or two comments from Larry. So I hope he is well and obviously buying his tickets to the Brighton match. And I'm just looking at the fixtures here. Liverpool's the 20th of August. I think his trip will have ended by then. But fingers crossed Larry can see 3 points. And maybe a Frankie de Jong in a red shirt. I don't think he'll get that second wish, but who knows? Anything else to add, lads?
No, cheers for having us. It was always good to talk United and some football. And then, boys, the countdown from tomorrow, 4 weeks to victory game. Can't wait.
Definitely appreciate all legends in the live chat and all your sort of comments and interaction. Do appreciate it. Make sure you do leave a like on the video and subscribe if you're new. And if you are heading down to Melbourne, just in the comments below or in the next live chat, do let us know. And Rob and I and George will be there. Larry will be there and a few others in the live chat. Just get in touch and we're always happy. Look, I'm down there with no one to be working or anything. So when I get up at 9 o'clock in the morning, we make a beeline to the pub and just enjoy the rest of our day there. So I have plenty of time on our hands to have a chat with anyone. Feel free to get in touch. Until then, Larry and I will be back live just when something happens. Rob has already seen that. So Rob's already happy to make his way to Melbourne. But as I said, Larry and I will be back very shortly, hopefully when there's breaking news. Maybe tonight. Probably not, but you know what I mean. Maybe this time tomorrow.
When is there breaking news with United?
Exactly. So might not be back for another month or so, but hopefully we're back this time tomorrow with some positive news. Until then, we'll chat to you when we chat to you. Cheers.